Balsamic.
Welcome to Keane Fitness Podcast, where we talk everything fitness, nutrition and mindset with your host Keane.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Keane Fitness Podcast. We talk everything fitness, nutrition and mindset to help you with your goals. Today's episode is going to be a Q&A, so I've pulled questions from all my social media platforms. I've taken a couple from Facebook, from a Facebook Live, I've taken one or two from Instagram Live, and I've taken one from Snapchat as well. So make sure you follow me on all those platforms. Keane Fitness on Facebook and Instagram. I'm really active on Instagram at the minute, so make sure you check me out on there. And my Snapchat, BrianK019, which is probably my most active platform. I try and open that as much as I can for Q&As back and forth. So first question comes in from Jessica Corbett. How many hours a day do you dedicate to working out, and do you feel guilty if you miss a few days? Okay, so Jessica, personally for me, I never spend more than an hour in the gym, and anybody that's on any of my programs, my top 50 program or my J Lean Body program, I very, very rarely have anyone that I work with go over an hour in the gym unless they're doing some form of plateau breaker or some form of finisher at the end of their workout, which can bring the time into 65, 70 minutes depending on the version of the program. And this works better as more of a plateau breaker as opposed to a set rule for training at that time. The reason for this is I generally feel that if you're in the gym for more than an hour and providing that body composition is your goal and you're not in there for strength or powerlifting where your rest periods are going to be much longer, I tend to find that if you're in for more than that period of time and you're not doing cardio, your training intensity probably wasn't high enough. And this is from my own personal experience and with people that I've worked with, that if you're going pretty balls to the wall for 45, 50 minutes, you're timing your rest periods, you're failing at the given waist that your rep range is in. So if you're at 8 to 10 reps, you're failing at that given rep range. Your rest periods are strictly timed with a watch or stopwatch that you have with you. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to keep that intensity for more than an hour. So I generally keep my rest time very strict. I'm very hard to talk to in the gym session. Anyone that trains in the gym my local gym, they know that you're not going to get me in a conversation during my workout because I'm strictly timing my rests. Either before or after, you'll always get me. But during, I'm literally looking at my watch in between sets, because if I'm working for hypertrophy parameters, I'm doing my 60 to 90 seconds. If I'm working my strength and conditioning parameters, I may have a higher rest. Or if I'm working for Tabata or I'm working for high intensity interval cardio, I'm very strict on my 30-second rest or my 20-second rest, whatever the version of the program is that I'm following. So personally, I never go over the hour. I have very few of my clients and people that I work with go over the hour. As I said, apart from people that are doing finishers or fat loss breaking plateaus, which can spike up your metabolism by going out of the norm, but 80% of the time, in and out within the hour would be my general rule, assuming that body composition is your main goal or sporting performance is your main goal. In terms of feeling guilty, not anymore. There was a period in my life that I used to get very, very edgy on the days that I couldn't train, or if I missed sessions, I would feel very just out of sorts, and my mood would be affected, and I would just feel on edge for the entire day. I've got a lot better with that as I've got older. Personally, I know myself that I need to do something active 5-6 days in the week. Or else I start to get very edgy. I get a lot of pent up energy. Fortunately, I have a lot of natural energy, but it gets very, very pent up if I don't do something physical or something active 5 or 6 days during the week. So what I'll do on those days is if I've missed training sessions, I don't feel guilty and I don't beat myself up, because a lot of my training now is for mental. It's my meditative state. Like it allows me to set myself up for the day, and I don't train as much for look or aesthetics anymore. The way I look is more a byproduct of the way I live. But in terms of just being active, I just hack that. Now I'm at the stage that I can do a 20-minute workout at home with body weight. I directly take the one that's in my online program and I do that at home, their body weight circuits, or I'll go for a run, or I'll go for a cycle, or I'll go for a swim, or I'll bring Holly, my daughter who's now 2, I'll bring her to the park, or I'll bring her to like Monkey Business or one of these active playgrounds, indoor playgrounds that I'm running around with her. So as long as I'm active, I don't actually get that pent up energy that leads to edginess, and that's the feeling of guilt normally comes from it. Again, also as long as your nutrition's on point, you're normally not going to be too bad missing 1 or 2 sessions, or you just make it up the following week. The truth is, life gets in the way. People have busy schedules. You either have work, kids, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, commitments you need to attend to, that you're going to miss sessions. You're not going to get to the gym every day, but you can hack it. You can do something at home. Like I've got an 8-minute workout that's in my online program that I do at home. It's 2 rounds of Tabata on different movements. And if I'm stuck somewhere in a hotel room and I've got a meeting, or if I'm doing an event, or I'm doing something that I need to speak, or I'm there and I don't have any time to train, or I haven't prioritized the time to train, I will just do an 8-minute workout in the room, and then I'll have a shower, and then I'll go to the event. And that's something that I'll do very, very regularly, and that tends to help. And those feelings of guilt tend to go away as long as you've done something active. So again, that's me offering what I do, and hopefully that it helps you, Jessica. Next question from Jason O'Callaghan. What's better, wide grip pull-ups or close grip pull-ups? Okay, this will be a pretty short one, Jason. It depends on what you're trying to prioritize. I normally find wide grip pull-ups are better for lats and back development, and close grip pull-ups tend to be better for biceps. Even though you'll get a lot of back in there as well, you just don't tend to get the width in your lats that you will get from wide grip pull-ups. It really varies depending on your specific goals. Close grip pull-ups tend to work well for chin-ups as well, just for somebody looking to build power or build up their arms and build up their biceps and build up a bit of power in their back. And wide grip pull-ups tend to be a lot better for actual shape and width and size of your back. So if you're looking to add width to your actual back, I'd probably focus on wide grip pull-ups. If you're looking to build the inside of your back or your biceps, or just power for explosiveness, I work with close grip, but it's going to be the alternation and jumping between the two. For anyone that's not able to do a full pull-up, my favorite way to build up to it is using a band or use an assisted machine, and then reduce the weight week on week until you get into a full pull-up. Bands work incredibly well. So if you haven't checked out my Instagram video on how to build up to a full pull-up, check out my Instagram on that. It's literally just a picture of me and a grey stringer holding a band, is like the still image. So click into that. I'm talking through, and I've written a little description, and I've showed you exactly how to build into a full pull-up. So if you're a guy or a girl who's put that on their list of things to learn how to do, definitely check that out. But really, for a band, you just either lock it on between your legs or under your knees, and you gradually build up to a full pull-up by reducing the amount of resistance in the band. The thicker the band you use, the more leverage it's going to give you in terms of getting up in a pull-up into the full position and then back down. And then as you reduce that resistance, you can build yourself into a full pull-up. That works for wide grip and it works for close grip. So my advice would be, it depends on, again, what your priority is, but I would mix and match between the two. They're both great exercises. The truth is, you can do an awful lot for your body composition with just your body weight. I've got workouts in my online program and my top 50 program that are just purely body weight, particularly for people looking for fat loss and strength. It's one of the things that kind of blows my mind in the gym. And I've talked to a lot of young lads, particularly a lot of the underage GA players that I work with. There's no point going in, lifting your body weight in a bench press if you're not able to do strict push-ups. And that's what people do. It's the same as they go straight into a lat pull down in the gym when they should be focusing on pull-ups for strength. Because if you can't maneuver and manage your body weight, there's no point loading that muscle for extra resistance. Again, depending on your goals, a lat pull down will work great because it'll allow you to fail in the 8 to 10 rep range, which can help back development. But if you're working for power and strength, you're better to build up to a full pull up, and you're going to get more an advantage, a better bang for your buck doing those movements as opposed to doing the machine or the barbell equivalents. Okay, next question comes in from Connor. Brian, what are your thoughts on supplements? Can you achieve maximum results without using any of them? Okay, so I'm going to come at this from two angles. One of my favorite Charlie Munger quotes. Charlie Munger is the business partner of Warren Buffett, who owns Berkshire Hathaway, who are the owners of Coca-Cola. They're two of the richest people in the world. And Charlie Munger, one of his quotes that I live by is, you shouldn't have an opinion on something unless you can argue the opposite side better than the people who have that opinion in the first place. And I have a lot of things that fall into this bracket. Branched chain amino acids, casein, things that I can argue the pros and cons as equally on both sides. And then I'm like, well, this is what I think is best. For those of you who don't know, I love BCAAs and I hate casein, just to give a bit of context. But in this circumstance, I feel very similar in terms of you can get incredible results without any supplements, provided that you have your nutrition geared towards your specific goals and you're filling in all the amino acids that you need, you're filling in all the vitamins and minerals that you need, and you are following a program that is in alignment with your specific goals. That being said, the supplements are incredible at filling in the gaps that you can't get from nutrition. So the answer is both, and yes and no, really. Like, you can, if you have everything perfect with your diet, you have all your amino acids, all your vitamins, all your minerals covered that your body needs, you're going to get tremendous results with it. All supplements do is supplement what you're missing in your nutrition. If you can get it all from your nutrition and you have very, very strong knowledge on the nutritional profiles of each food, you're not going to need that many supplements because you're already going to get them from your food, and any extra you get will just be wastage. However, for somebody that isn't getting it from the nutrition, that has a very, very busy lifestyle, that is on the go all the time, that doesn't have a full understanding of nutritional profiles or food, or doesn't have the time, or doesn't want to prioritize learning about it because there's more important things that you need to know. That's why people go to trainers. That's why people go onto programs, because you're outsourcing. You're effectively what trainers sell, and what my programs and other personal trainers online, they're selling time. You know, like, the truth is, you go onto my profile, you go onto my Facebook, my Instagram, my Snapchats, you're going to be able to piece together training programs and piece together nutritional plans yourself, but it might take you 6 months to get it perfect for you. It might take you 12 months. It might take you 18 months. Whereas if you do go onto a program, you have it there and then. So the reason I put out so much free content is for that reason. I'm like, not everyone can afford a program. I'm like, here, it's all there. All my information is there. All the nutrition advice is there. My 14 days of fat loss on the website. All my training videos, all my nutrition videos, my Snapchat workouts. It's all there. So you can build it yourself, but it just might take you 6, 12, 18 months. Where I'm on the other side, where I'm like, you know what, here, take fucking this and just give me the fucking program. I don't have time to effectively learn everything that I need to learn. So that's just my model. Again, it's me, that I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. I have what I call a non-job, and my fucking legacy, or whatever you want to call it, is serving and helping as many people as I can. Again, I'm very fortunate that I get paid for speaking, books, and all of these things that come in. I'm very fortunate I have all of that, and then everything else is an extra. So I'm very law of reciprocity. You help people get what they want, you get everything you want. But in terms of what to do with your supplements and nutrition, sometimes it can be just easier to get a nutritional plan that has everything without your supplements, or gives you the supplements that you need that you're probably going to be missing in your diet. So it's nearly a case of, if you don't have the time to expand your knowledge on what you need, you might be better to get a program that doesn't include supplements, that's going to work specifically for you. On the flip side of that, supplements will work to supplement what you're missing in your nutrition. And it's going to speed up your progress because you're going to fill in the gaps of what you're missing. For example, you can get creatine from red meat, but it's a lot easier to get 3 to 5 grams from creatine ethyl ester or from creatine monohydrate from a supplement form than eating the amount of red meat that it would take in order to get that amount of creatine. It also means that you need to factor into your calories, you need to factor in the rest of the macros, the fat and the protein on top of the creatine you're absorbing from the red meat, but you definitely can. It just takes a lot more work. The reason the supplement industry is $1 billion industry, and rightly so, is because it fills the needs and fills the gaps on what you're missing in your nutrition. But you can get incredible results without it. The only advice I would offer there is the way supplements work is filling a gap in what you're missing in your nutrition. For example, people will regularly ask me, and this has come up on podcasts before, when's the best time to take your whey protein, or vegan rice protein is what I'm currently using. And normally, obviously, first thing in the morning, post-workout, insulin-sensitive times, when you've been in a fasted state, you want to flush your muscles with amino acids so you're able to get your body into an anabolic switch, effectively, quote-unquote, anabolic trigger, where you're back into an anabolic state where your body's not eating away at muscle that you've been fasting overnight. However, my favorite way to use whey protein and vegan protein is stop gates in people's nutrition. So people that come through my top 50 program, if they have a long period during the day where they can't get a meal because of their job or their family commitments, I'm like, okay, we'll have a whey protein shake here and add in maybe some MCT oil, or add in some oats for somebody that tolerates carbohydrates better and has a faster metabolism, and then that works as a stopgate snack in between meals. That's my favorite way to use supplements. Make them fit into your lifestyle, make them fit into your goal schedule, and then base them around your specific goals. But coming back to it, both ways work. One way may be longer. Like, you can get from A to B or A to C. Supplements might just help get you there quicker. Okay, next question was in from Snapchat. Hey Brian, I struggle to stay positive. How do you stay so positive? Okay, so one of the things that has changed my life more than anything else is the understanding that the thoughts you put into your head will dictate the actions that you take, and the actions you take will manifest themselves into the life that you have. If you put shitty and negative thoughts into your head, that's going to manifest itself into poor actions, that's going to manifest itself into a life that you see as negative. And the flip works with positive. The people you hang around with, the TV you watch, the books you read, the work colleagues you spend your free time with, all of these things are going to affect how you perceive the world and how you see everything. Everything we see is a perspective, everything we hear is an opinion. And how you see the world is largely down to what you put into your mind in the first place. If you put negative and garbage into your brain, you're going to see the world in that way. One of the reasons that I have such issues with things like the news is because you're intentionally, whether consciously or subconsciously, watching something that you know is going to put you into a negative state, and you're allowing those thoughts creep into your head, which is going to reflect the way you see the world. And I know I get a lot of hate when I say this. Well, I think nobody should watch the fucking news. You know, I think the news, with the exception of the BBC, which as far as I know is one of the only government-run news agencies that doesn't make a profit, news channels are there to make profit. They know through the cognitive biases and the availability bias that we have that because we're wired as an evolutionary, any evolutionary psychologist will tell you that we're wired to see things that are fearful, things that are going to cause danger, because that kept us alive thousands of years ago. Now, news channels can manifest that and make that a fucking head title or put that in the front of a newspaper, knowing that we're going to gravitate towards it because we're wired through evolutionary psychology to see the negative things. News channels and papers sell copies of papers. They sell ratings on TV. They know that putting up the amazing things that are happening in the world is not going to sell papers. It's not going to make you flick onto Sky News. But putting up a terrorist attack or putting up a bombing somewhere is going to gravitate and pull your attention because they know that's the way that human species are wired. You have full control into what you put into your mind for the largest part. Watching the news, reading newspapers, putting garbage fucking magazines into your mind and seeing the world in a negative way. I actually had one of my top 50 girls reach out to me and tell me about how she was fighting with her boyfriend and couldn't find a solid relationship, but she spent a lot of her time reading gossip magazines, this OK magazine, gossip magazine, and literally saw this on one of the fucking titles was how to find out if your boyfriend is texting or sexting somebody else, or how to find out if your boyfriend is cyber cheating. All of these things. If that's what you're reading in magazines and putting into your mind, guess what you're going to look out for in your relationship? Because that becomes your reality. The thing you fed into your mind, those thoughts now manifest themselves into actions, which will probably manifest themselves into the way you speak to your boyfriend, which is probably going to lead to a circumstance where he may leave you because he thinks or you think that he's possibly cyber cheating when he's not, because you read that in the magazine, because that became your reality, because they're the thoughts you put into your head. Staying positive and being negative is a reflection of the thoughts and the raw materials that you put into your head, and that can manifest itself into loads of different ways, but you have full control on that. The people you spend the most time with, your friends, your family, if they're bitching and moaning and giving out about their jobs and their life, that's going to become your reality, and you're going to subconsciously think. We as a species are wired like machines to take subconscious surroundings that we see and then manifest themselves into the way we behave. That's why they say, and I love the Jim Rohn quote, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You hang out with 5 fitness people, you'll become the 6th. You hang out with 5 rich people, you'll become the 6th. You hang out with 5 negative people, you'll become the 6th. That's what happens in life. By the mirror neurons in our brain, the evolutionary psychology of how we're wired, we are a social species that are going to reflect our environment. You spend your time with negative people, you're going to become a negative person. You put negative thoughts, negative magazines, negative books, negative TV, news outlets into your mind, it's going to reflect the way you see the world. For me, and I can only speak because you're your own best example, as you can tell, this is a topic that I tend to rant on, that I have consciously chosen. I don't know anything that's going on in the world. I don't read the news. I'm literally the last person I feel on the planet to hear about terrorist attacks and to hear about bombings, because I don't watch the news, because I know the availability bias in the brain. I know that it's going to pull that to the forefront of my mind, and it's going to the fear-mongering that news channels and that negative outlets have, and the way that we will see the world, I know that I am not strong enough mentally to be able to block that out. I know that if I hang around with negative people, and I consider myself quite mentally strong, subconsciously, I'm going to be affected by their thought process. If you want to have a more positive life, put more positive raw materials into your mind, because that's what's going to create a positive life. If you're reading magazines, if you're watching TV shows, if you're hanging out with negative people, if you're watching the news, if you're doing things and following social media people that are making you feel bad about yourself, that are literally creating insecurity within you, that's going to create negativity. You want to be positive, put positive raw materials into your mind. Monitor the books you read, monitor the people you follow, surround yourself with like-minded people who want to be positive and achieve great things, or achieve great things for them. That looks different for each person. For some people it's building $1 million businesses, for others it's being an incredible mother or father. It doesn't matter, it's relative. Surround yourself with those people. You have full control on that. You can take full ownership of it. And again, this is where sometimes I get hate back, because I'm like, you have control, you can take ownership of this. It's like, well, I can't help the fucking people, my family or my friends. I'm like, yes, you can. You can control what you let into your mind. If you know that your mum or your dad or the most negative people you spend the most time, that you know, you don't spend as much time with those people. I love my dad to bits, but he's one of the most negative people I know. He sees the world completely different to the way I do, and I love him, and I love the work ethic he's instilled in me, and I owe him a gratitude of death for it. But he watches the news for 3 hours a day. He sees the world in a different way. My mum, on the other hand, is one of the most positive people. She sees the world for what it can be. That we get one life, that you only live once. Go do all the things that make you happy. And I've subscribed to that mindset, because that's a happier way for me to live. You know, surround yourself with those people. Limit the amount of time you spend with the other people, because you have that choice. You can take ownership of that, and that's down to you. Okay, last question comes in from Michaela Gray. How can I get a luscious ass? Okay, so lots of different ways to describe a luscious ass. I assume when you say luscious ass, you mean shapely, built. It's probably the best description that I can give for a luscious ass. So the main thing is going to be making sure you're prioritizing building up your bum. In my top 50 program, I have a glute day for the girls in all versions. There's beginner, intermediate, and advanced version, but there's a glute focus even on the finishers on week 3 and week 6 that I add in to supplement in instead of cardio. They're glute based finishers, purely because building a luscious ass comes down to your training program largely. Obviously getting your nutrition on point, making sure you're eating enough calories and particularly enough amino acids to support growth from the fibers you're tearing in your glutes, and getting your body fat low enough so that your waist is smaller and your glutes become more pronounced. But the main thing is going to be prioritizing in your training program. Focus on building glutes. Getting tension in your glutes from different angles is going to be key. So what I normally do is movements like hip thrusts, you're squatting through your glutes, glute kickbacks, cable kickbacks, loads of different variations of movements and systems, partial reps, straight sets, hypertrophy ranges, 8 to 10 reps, 60 to 90 second rest, 3 to 4 sets. Things that are going to focus on building size to your glutes is what's going to give you a luscious ass. After that, it's about just getting good jeans and yoga pants. Long live yoga pants. Okay, so a little bit of a mixture of a Q&A today, from a very, very serious and ranty topic to finishing off on a nice how to get a luscious ass. So yeah, very random Q&A. They've been very random the last few, so if you haven't checked out the last few Q&As, yeah, go check them out. I've just been pulling the most random questions, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So again, any feedback, be sure to leave a rating on the podcast. And if you like these Q&As or you hate them and you're like 1 star, this is shit, I fucking hate it, or 5 star or whatever the top star is because you love it, let me know, because I literally use your feedback to go what direction the podcast takes. One of the reasons that I've been trying to get a couple more guests on and I've been doing a lot more Q&A is down to the feedback in the comments. So if you leave a review and you're like, love the Q&As, I'll keep them coming. If you're like, love the interviews, I'll keep them coming. Love the single episodes, the solo episodes, I'll keep them coming. So let me know, guys, in the review, and let me know whatever you think. Give it a rating, and because I read all of them, so I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to monitor them or to rate them and review them. So thank you so much in advance. Okay, for more information on me, you can head over to my website, www.brankingfitness.com. All the information on my top 50 program and my GA Lean Body programs on there. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube's all Branking Fitness. My Snapchat's BrianK019, and a massive thank you to Colm at Voxonic who puts together all my podcasts. Thanks for listening. Catch you all soon.
We can't get enough.